In this video, we're going to look at files and open them and see what is in the editing process for these Cascade server assets, in particular web pages. And we're going to provide some helpful information on how you make updates to web pages. And so in here, I'm in the VPBA www root CMS site, and I want to open this index page. Okay, so I'm going to hover over this. I'm going to click this page, and when I click and select it in the site content panel, click on the icon, it's going to open the WYSIWYG view of the page. And this is very nice because it gives you a preview of what this page would look like if it was published out to the web server. This is being rendered inside of Cascade. This is not on a web server per se. It's just how the system is rendering the style information in the content. When you open or access a web page in Cascade, you're going to see here that this is a page asset. That's what it's showing here. I'm highlighting this. And this is the display name of the item of the web page we're looking at. Okay, and this is the name of the file in Cascade Server. It's index. Okay, and it's not really an HTML page per se. It looks like one, and it's easy to think that, but in Cascade Server we're dealing with XML formatting and the XML syntax, and the system is rendering this internally. So this is basically like an XML file that we're looking at, even though it looks like a web page. Now that we have an understanding of what this is, we can talk about our options to edit this file and perform other operations on this file. Okay, so the very first thing we want to look at is the edit button. So in the top here, in the top right corner of this page view here, we have this edit button. So if I click this edit button, okay, it's going to bring up this like pop-out box or modal box, however you want to describe it or call it, however you want to call it. And it's going to have a series of pages that are associated with this particular web page asset in Cascade Server. And you can access the different pages just by hovering over these buttons. I'm going to click one just to show you, see how it changes the content in this dialog box. I'm going to go back to content button to go to this page. And it's going to show a number of form fields that allow us to edit the web page and the web page properties. So the first two properties we want to look at are the display name and the title field. Okay, the display name field, as you can see, it has a value of home there. And as I said earlier, this is the display name, which is what we saw here. This is display name. I'm going to click at it again. And there's also a title field. Okay, and this title field is used to set the value of the title in the web browser. Like if you look at a web browser, if you remember, you have web browser tabs, and in the tab there's a label for the actual web page, and the value of that label is here. So you can put in, for example, I could have put here in home as well. Typically these two values are the same. You want to try to keep them the same for consistency. So, but this particular field, I know, is an optional field. It's not required. Otherwise it would have had something here already. So for now we'll just leave it as is, but you should know what these are, and you should know when you put in a value what it is and where it's being labeled at in the page. Okay, so there's these two fields, and then there's this including navigation radio button group, and by default it says including navigation. So you can override this by choosing to not include this page in the navigation. Because this is the landing page of the site, we definitely want this included, or else it's going to be hard for them to find this page in the navigation. And it's not going to appear in the navigation. So we definitely want this, but there will be times where you would want a website to not be included, or a web folder to not be included in navigation, and you have that option here to select no. Okay, so there's this, and there's also this other section here, which is site page and then content rows. And this is a section in the form where you can choose, for example, we can choose if we want to enable page overrides. And this is very helpful, because there are times when you want to have some custom features for a website. Maybe we want to add a component to the web page, like a banner, or let's say we want to add contact information. We want to show the right column, or we don't want to show it. We want to show the news, or we don't. And there's a number of, I would call them components, that you can turn on and off that override the default behavior of that web page. Okay. So for now, that's a quick introduction. We may go into this in more detail in other videos, but that's what this is, and that's what it's here for, to give you some more customization capabilities for your web pages. And then this content row refers to like a container in a web page. If you visualize a web page, if you draw a square inside your web page, that can be seen as a container, because you can put things inside that square or box, and that's what this content row means. So you have one row, or one container that's in one row, and within that row you can have a number of columns. Okay, and right here, starting up at the top, you have the option to put in a heading for this content row. And sometimes it helps to have the heading in there, other times you're not going to want it, so it is an optional field. You don't have to put a heading in. In fact, you can put that heading inside of the content itself, and I'm going to show you how that works in a little bit. But for now, just know that that option is here. Then you have this custom class field. The custom class field is to allow you to put in a cascading style sheet class label, and that there's more flexibility there. Let's say you want to apply some styles to this row, this container row, and you can do that within a CSS file, as long as it is one that is being referenced for this web page template. It should work as long as you set up and define that style, that class style, inside your CSS files. You can create the label and reference that label here. You can put the class name of your style rule, and you can enter it here. Most of the time we don't really do that, but for exceptional cases we may want to have some more customization here for this given content row. Then you have this add horizontal line below option. If you click yes, it's just going to add a horizontal line below this content row. And then you see here there's another content row here, and you can expand and collapse by clicking on the gray heading here, on this little heading line, or this colored line. You can click and open and close, and you can have multiple content rows here, okay, for a given web page. And we will cover this in more detail when we talk about the Cascade web templates that we work with. But for now, just know that this is a feature that is within a page. So here I've created this page, and this page is going to have multiple content rows that I can open and close. It's got quite a few of them here. And at the bottom of this content page, we have this tags option, and here you can go in and type tags that that will be associated with a given page. I don't normally use tags, but if let's say you wanted to tag a page with a label, like let's say I want to call this a test page, I can associate a new tag here. And I can go in and add more tags, test only, and I can create a new tag on the fly, put it in, and I can save this page with these new changes. For now I'm going to get rid of this because I don't really need these tags, but you have that option, and that's what I'm demoing here for you. And that can be important if you really need to classify pages as certain types and you want to go back and search for them. You can search by the tags and they will show up in your search results. So we've given you a quick demo of what a page looks like when you open it, and we're covering basically the first page, and other videos will go over some of these other options. But for now, this is just a quick look at editing a page and looking at a page and what the editing process is in Cascade Server.